What is going on? Welcome on in for a trade recap today, Friday, September 15th, 2023. We've been having some camera troubles. Hopefully everything is working properly. That's something that I got to fix at some point or work on. I don't know. I'm not a big camera guy. I really have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to cameras. But what I do know what I'm doing, or at least I hope I know what I'm doing, is trading this strategy. So as of right now, we finished today with 146 in the green, one trade, one win. A net ROI of 19% on this trade, and it was on AMD. So first things first, I do want to cover why I was looking here in the first place. AMD, look above me. On this list of stocks, there's about 10 stocks on there. AMD is the weakest stock on this list. Because it's the weakest stock on the list, that gives me relative weakness to compare it to other stocks or the market in general, and that's a good thing. That's where I want to have my eyes if I am playing downside momentum. So how do we identify downside momentum now? Is overall trend is down. Great. Yes, we've got that. Trend on AMD the past couple months or weeks has been down, lower highs. We were in some sort of wedge, if you will. Maybe that's forming. I don't really know. It doesn't really matter because I'm not trading off that. All I know is it's trending down. We also have lower lows over the course of the same time. I couldn't trade AMD. If AMD is here, I can't trade it. Why? We don't have anything. If AMD is pressuring these lows, that's a level we could see momentum and a follow-through move. That's an area of interest. So it needs to pressure on some recent lows, break those, give us momentum to the downside. And it pretty much did that with about a nice dollar move down towards 102 from the 103 break. So that blue line's at 103. We go to the 5-minute chart on AMD here. What you're going to see is AMD has a nice push down off of the open, and then it starts to kind of consolidate, mess around a little bit. And so I marked this low at this 103.20 area as an area of interest. That was an area that if we were to break to the downside, I would be interested in getting in. On top of that, I did use an indicator here, and I also did use another platform that I do want to pull up. So if I go in here, the moving, not the moving average, I want to talk about the exponential moving average, the EMA, the 9 EMA, this yellow line. We have been below the 9 EMA. We're trending down. I played the break of this 103.20. This first blue line here. I played the break of that, so I got in at 9:25 a.m. roughly, and then I ended up taking profits into this move to the downside, and it gave me a nice juicy move, which is awesome. My stop loss was going to be a break back above the 9 EMA, which essentially was going to be like right above here, and then that, of course, as time progressed, trended down. Then looking back, had I still been in the trade, if I had anything left, I would now be all out at this back test of the 9 EMA where it closed above the 9 EMA. Okay, but I'm not. So back to TradeZella, back into this trade. If I were to go inside of here, you can see the executions. We got in at 9:28 a.m., 3 contracts at $255 a contract. First sell was at $287 a contract, then at $299, and the last sell was $325. First sell came about 15-ish minutes later, roughly. Next one after that, like 2 minutes after that. The next one came a few minutes after that. So pretty straightforward on this trade. Now, how did I have the confidence to play this kind of consolidation break? Well, we stayed underneath the 9 EMA, momentum and trend direction to the downside. We were weak compared to other stocks, and we have a very key level, 103, just below us. We can break that with momentum. We like it. I'm going to pull up Bookmap. So over here on Bookmap, what we've got right now is a look at AMD's chart. We go back and we zoom this back out. So what I see on this chart is a couple different things. Now, essentially a trend down all day, okay, off of the open, it trending down. This indicator right here, the CVD, this is essentially telling me we've got more aggressive sellers than buyers net as it continues to trend down. And if you were to watch essentially back through this move, we had, if I can zoom this back over to when I was in the trade, before the bounce off the 102s, right, back in through here, right? If you watch this, what you'll notice is that you have much larger red volume dots showing you more aggressive sellers than buyers, essentially the entire way down. If you zoom in, right, that's too much of a zoom. If you zoom in, you'll notice that look at how big these red volume dots are compared to some of the back tests or the bounce back greens. not very big. And especially as we came down to key levels where we had a lot of orders stacking up on the heat map, we had some bigger aggressive sellers come through and smack us down and break down. And then that's what we ended up taking. I got in the trade somewhere up in here on these aggressive sellers. We didn't really have a lot going on, but we had more sellers generally aggressively than buyers, bigger red dots. And then eventually that follow through came down all the way down towards 102. And that's where essentially I was taking profits on this move. So given the signs with aggressive sellers here, just seeing essentially like when people say the tape is heavy and when they're saying like this stock is weak and stuff, like this, looking at Bookmap, using this was a way for me to say, to justify, yes, like I have numbers to justify that. It's not just me kind of visually thinking and seeing things. I can see that. It's pretty clear to me. We have much more aggressive sellers here coming in, just net ever since the open. I'm going to play the downside here. I'm playing with the trend. I'm playing with that move. If we're going to see momentum, we're going to get this continuation. Boom. That's why this was a good tool. Is it always the best tool? No, it's a tool, just like anything else. So that's what I also used to kind of guide me and to keep me in the trade. Did I need that? Not necessarily, but it was a good piece to help, I think. So that right there is how it worked. We traded to system and a bear flag, so we are looking pretty decent based off of right now. Now, if we were to come back and see how we are looking on the month, as we speak, started the month off with a pretty nasty max loss day, just like 3 trades didn't work, and then have been grinding back since. We are on a 7-day win streak. Now, that sounds, if I pop myself out of the way, that sounds like a lot better than it actually is. These are all pretty small wins, except today was a better win. 146 is pretty good. Other than that, it was all small wins. We really didn't get a lot of follow through on the moves I was trading earlier this week. And so I was able to kind of take half profits and then stop me out for break even on the rest, is what happened like pretty much on like all the trades. Go back on most of those trades, or we'd have a red trade first and a green trade second or something along those lines. And so our risk management's pretty good. Our win rate's now above 50%, which is great. And our average win-loss is over 1, which is also great. But, you know, it's kind of like, nothing crazy. Like this could have been a great week. This past 7 days could be really good. We're now green on the month. It's awesome. But I still feel kind of like my Eagles. I still feel like we're not maximizing the potential, right? We're not there. Like, yeah, we got some wins lately, but, you know, like the Eagles are 2-0. But, like, they just don't look like last year's team or a Super Bowl contender. Just like this strategy, yeah, it looks green. We're getting some wins as of late, but we're not totally maximizing what I think my strategy could do. And I think part of that is also market conditions, feeling things out, waiting for better sense of direction. And hopefully we see more of that into the next couple of weeks and into next month in Q4. Also, next week, I believe I was looking at some data. Next week, historically speaking, is one of the worst weeks for the stock market of the year. We just tend to see more red days next week than green, historically speaking. So something to keep in mind. Maybe that has an effect on the markets. We shall see. But with that said, I'm going to wrap things up for today. Links to TradeZella, I'll link Bookmap, anything else that I use, TradingView, in the description box down below, like always. But hopefully this is a good insight into today's trade recap. And on the week as well, taking profits out. So when the account, we have a good, on green weeks, I will take profits out. Now, of course, that depends upon what I want. If you had red weeks prior to that, we are now red on the month. So I'm taking out nice gains from what I started the month with. And I like to reset the account, roughly speaking, at a set number and then pop out the profits every single week if we've got them. So we've got them. We're going to take it. We're going to pay ourselves and we're going to reap the rewards. 200 and something bucks. Pretty cool. We'll take that. And, you know, hopefully that also helps with like realizing and seeing it. And now that can go to pay this or that, pay the electric bill. You know what I mean? Like it starts to make, you know, a little bit of a difference. And now it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. Hopefully that's kind of like a reaffirming thing to make you want to be focused, dialed in, not do dumb shit, and trade the system, trade the strategy like this. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.